How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. One of the things I wanted to do when I first started this channel was to highlight my comic book hauls and also honor artists that have meant a lot to me in my comic book collecting history. And one of them is the artist I'm going to show off today. His name was Dave Stevens. Some of you may have heard of him through his creation of the Rocketeer, but this guy could draw beautiful women and just great artwork all around. I have countless versions of collected editions of the Rocketeer. I've double dipped, triple dipped, you name it. I've got his artist edition. Anytime he showed up in a magazine interview and there was cover artwork, I bought him, which I'm going to highlight in this video right here too. So before Adam Hughes, before J. Scott Campbell, my guy was Dave Stevens. And the thing that started it all off with him was the Rocketeer. As you can see, I've got the two little action figures here. But the Rocketeer started in Star Slayer #2 from Pacific Comics. Now, I mean, again, you wouldn't know from this cover what was inside that was going to change everybody's lives. But here's the back cover of the same book. And this is the very first cover appearance of, well, back cover appearance of the Rocketeer. He just drew awesome. Everybody that's watching this probably knows all about him, so I can't rant and rave about him enough. But he was born on July 29th, 1955. Unfortunately, he left us way too soon. He came down with hairy cell leukemia and passed away in 2008. But he did get to see his Rocketeer movie go to the big screen, so that was one good thing. But anyway, this is the first appearance of the Rocketeer. This was in Star Slayer #2. He next showed up again in Star Slayer #3, and again, not on the cover, but he does show up on the back cover. So he's continuing the story of the Rocketeer. So this is the back cover for Star Slayer #3. And again, just an awesome story, very short. I think it's only a few pages in each issue, but then he was so popular, the Rocketeer was so popular that he branched off and he went into something called Pacific Presents. So here's Pacific Presents, #1, and it also had a second story in there of The Missing Man by Steve Ditko, but that's another early appearance of Rocketeer. And then he got the cover all to himself in Pacific Presents #2. And this is just the Rocketeer storyline continuing. Then, unfortunately, this publisher either messed him up or something. He had to go to another publisher. It was kind of hard to track this guy down early in the Rocketeer storyline. But then he showed up in they had a special edition Rocketeer #1 that came through Eclipse Comics. And he stayed with Eclipse for a while. Here's the Rocketeer Adventure Magazine #1. This is from Comico. Here's the Rocketeer Adventure Magazine #2. But I mean, like, this one, he didn't draw the cover, but his artwork is inside there. Or he might have done the layout and then had it painted by Dave Dorman. Here's another one. This is Adventure Magazine #3. Here's some of his art on Comico Attractions. Just a cool, like, little art drawing of kind of like what you're going to get when you see the Rocketeer. This book here is the official movie adaptation of the Rocketeer from Disney. He did the cover on this one. This is from 1991, obviously, because that's when the movie came out. But then he did, like I said, he was with Eclipse for a while, and he did a lot of different covers for them. And I bought every cover book, or every book that he did a cover for, I bought, whether I was collecting it or not, just because of the art on the cover. So here's one I never collected, but I bought it for the cover, Airboy #5, with a beautiful Dave Stevens cover with featuring the Valkyrie. Then here's another one I didn't buy at all, but his artwork's on the cover. Crossfire #12, just a beautiful cover with Marilyn Monroe, a likeness of Marilyn Monroe on it, I should say. But the funny thing is, the storyline, features a bunch of female impersonators, and that's a female impersonator of Marilyn Monroe. It's a really cool story. This guy, Crossfire, he's like I think he was a stuntman, and then he was a superhero on the side. This one is beautiful, and everybody loves this cover. I have a poster of this cover. DNA Agents, number 24. This is classic cheesecake all the way, but I mean, just look at how beautiful and simple his drawing is, and I mean, the coloring is fantastic. Everything is great on that. Here's Crossfire and Rainbow, number 4. He inked this cover. Good old Elvis showing up on the cover. Here's some other ones I didn't normally buy. Back to Pacific Comics. Alien Worlds, number 4. He has a story in here, and he did the cover. But again, it's just beautiful, beautiful stuff. If you ever get a chance to track any of this stuff down, by all means, I highly recommend it. Here's Alien Worlds number 2. It's another one that has a story and art in it of Dave's. Then he did a cover, a couple of covers, back to Kamiko of Johnny Quest. So here's Johnny Quest number 3. He did the cover on that one. Because what he did, originally, his early career, he worked with artist Russ Manning on the Tarzan newspaper strip. And then from there, he also worked with him on the Star Wars newspaper strip. And he also inked a few figures in the, I think it was in the Star Wars issue number 6 of the Marvel comic of that adapted the first episode 4 comic. I think he did a couple of faces in there. But when he was doing that, then in 1977, he ended up going to work for Hanna-Barbera, and he worked on Super Friends and Godzilla, doing storyboards, and he worked, I think he did a couple more other cartoons, and that's where he met Doug Wildey. And then Doug Wildey is the inspiration for Peavy, the character in The Rocketeer. So, yeah, then the 1982 is when The Rocketeer came out, and then 1991 is when the movie came out. So here's another Johnny Quest cover, number 5, featuring Jade. And he did a couple other covers too for other publishers. Here's one from DC. He did Elvira's House of Mystery, number 11. Just beautiful, beautiful picture of Elvira. Again, his inks are just so smooth, and I mean, his figure drawing is incredible. Then he did the covers for the Shadow and Doc Savage at Dark Horse. Here's number 1, very pulp-esque cover. And then this one too, issue number 2 of 2. Just fantastic. He also did some work. Let me get rid of these for a second here. Topps got him to do a cover for Xena Warrior Princess. So here he is doing a cover for Xena. Back to Eclipse. Because these are, I should have put them in chronological order, but I apologize, I did not, but I just grabbed the pile and thought I'd do the video. Mr. Monster, number 2. They made that picture into a poster too, I believe. Here's a cover he did for King Kong from Monster Comics. Beautiful, old school King Kong and Fay Ray showing up there. Then even Blackthorn, he did some stuff for Blackthorn. Here's Jungle Comics, number 1. Beautiful Sheena, Queen of the Jungle cover. And then speaking of Sheena, here's the Blackthorn Publishing 3D issue that reprinted some of the old Sheenas from, I don't know, the 30s, 40s. But anyway, look at that cover. Oh, that's beautiful. Here's another one that I think they did an actual poster for eventually, but Eclipse Comics 3-Dimensional Seduction of the Innocent. Again, just a fantastic, fantastic cover. This one I was looking for forever, and I wasn't going to pay crazy money for it, and I ended up getting this one in a comic book auction eventually for a really, really good price. I think it was like under $5, but it's way more if you try and track one of these down now. But Planet Comics number 1 from Blackthorn. Again, it's just a fantastic cover that he did on that one. Then back to Pacific Comics. Here's a Vanguard Illustrated #2 from 1983. This is another beautiful picture of some space girl pirates that he did. And then here's another version of this one is a 3D comic too. This is Space Vixens #16 with Dave Stevens artwork on the cover. Here's one I never bought, but I bought it because of the cover. True Love #1 from Eclipse Comics. Another one I saw this on several places, but I was never willing to pay the price, and I ended up getting this for like under $1. But here's Orbit, Isaac Asimov's science fiction magazine #1 with a beautiful Dave Stevens cover on that. I never bought this one either, but he inked the covers on this. Girl Crazy #1. Here's another cool cover. Never bought this, but he did the cover, so here you go. Twisted Tales. I don't know if this is, it's a square bound. I don't know if that has an issue number or not, but there's the cover for that book. And then he got into some other stuff later. This is like more adult oriented from Veratic Comics, but Neo Satanica Tales. Here's a little more adult Dave Stevens cover. And then here's another one. This is Venus Domina #1. He did the cover to this one. And here's this is a special edition, so he did the cover to that one. Then these are some more that I knew he had the covers to, but I never could find them, and I finally got them in a lot. Cheval Noir #1 and Cheval Noir #7. So again, then he did some work on these. Now, World of Wood, he did the whole cover for this. That's #1. That was a mini-series that collected a lot of, I think, Wally Wood's science fiction stories from EC Comics, maybe, or from some back in the 50s. But then he inked over Wally Wood on this one, World of Wood #2. So that's cool. Then there was his big thing, of course, with the Rocketeer was his depiction of Betty Page. He made her famous all over again. You know, she was famous in the 50s, but then when the Rocketeer came out in 1982, she got a whole bunch of notoriety all over again. So, but they did put out some Betty Page comics from Dark Horse. Here's one that he did the cover for. And then here's #2, but he didn't do the cover to this one. But I have it in my pile. And then last but not least, he also, like I said, I would buy anything that he had drew artwork for or on the cover or whatever. So he did do an Indie Comic Book Artist interview. He was featured in #15. So here's the cover to that. This was a work from all the people that were in the magazine. But I mean, there's Dave's artwork. Then he did a nice big comic interview in the Comics Journal, and then he's got a lot of unpublished artwork in there, stuff like Marvel Comics artwork that he submitted to draw Spider-Man and all kinds of other stuff like that. So it's a really good interview. But well, both of those actually are really good interviews. And then last but not least, I'm going to show off, like I said previously, I would buy anything that he did. And so the first collection of the Rocketeer stories was released in a softcover collection. And it was, I think this was from, this is from Eclipse. But again, you know, like I bought it because it's brand new cover work of his. And there's the back page, but here's the front. So that was released by Eclipse, and then they did the second, because he had 2 stories. He only got to do 2 stories, and then That's All She Wrote. Then this one is through Dark Horse. This is his New York adventure. And there's a nice, beautiful cover and artwork of his too. And then the last thing I have here is a couple years ago, Jetpack Comics did a treasury edition of the Rocketeer, and it was like a limited edition through their website or store or whatever. And this was the artwork, oops, for that comic. But I mean, like, just look, it's actually just retaken from inside the book. But I mean, come on, how can you not want to buy that comic? And again, I've got the slipcase collection, I've got the original hardcover collection, I got the other hardcover collection that they released of the Rocketeer. It's just, I just loved his artwork, and again, I can't praise him enough. He was a great, great artist, and it's unfortunate that he's no longer with us. I'd love to see what he would be doing now. I think there's maybe one or two books that I didn't feature that I don't have. There's like a comic called Christmas Special of some aliens that he did, and I don't have his last cover, unfortunately. It's kind of expensive, and I'll get it eventually, but again, it's just too bad he's not around anymore, and he will be missed by many, 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 many comic collectors worldwide, and he is missed. But I hope you enjoyed this video. It's something different that I thought I'd do, like I said, to honor him on his birthday this year. It was one of my main plans to try and do something like this when I did these videos. Hopefully I'll branch out and do some other kind of videos other than just comic hauls, just to see if anybody's interested. But if you did like this, please hit the like button, leave me comments. What was the first book you saw of that Dave Stevens drew, or how did he affect your comic collecting? Did he affect your comic collecting? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from everybody and see what their feelings are on this great, great artist that is no longer around. But other than that, please like, as I just said, the video if you did. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. It really helps the channel. And I appreciate everybody watching and supporting me in this endeavor. And I don't want to ramble on any longer. But thanks again for watching. Good luck out there hunting for comics, and see you next time.